give you the highlights from SMX Playoff 2 in Texas. Hard pack racetrack because we were looking at nearly 100-degree temperatures. That didn't stop the riders from going all out in these motos. This is 450 Moto 1. It looked like Eli Tomac was going to have the start RC, but just goes wide.
Yeah, gets out there, comes in a little hot. That's going to happen. Easy to do, because if he brakes too hard, he risks the chance of guys running in the back of him and causing a collision.
So Hunter's in the lead. Cooper Webb's got a good start. Jet Lawrence is third there on the number 1. And Eli Tomac, not a good start, but look at these passes, James.
Yeah, man, he had some great lines, and probably because he didn't get the start, he was able to see and pick his way around the racetrack. And man, when he decided to come, he was coming like the vintage Eli Tomac. Here it is, getting around his teammate, another squaring it up on the inside, and he set his sights forward to those two brothers that was leading out front.
That was an epic pass, and it's so hard to do against guys like Cooper Webb. And up here at the top of this this class right here.
Chase Sexton, bad start, then stalls, challenging Webb.
A little thing like that can just absolutely kill your momentum of the drive forward, because he was coming at that stage.
And then same thing. No forward drive, wheel spin by Hunter, that coughs up the lead, but then he'd go back after Jet, put the pressure on, and then Jet stalls.
Yeah, we saw Chase Sexton just do the same thing, so it must be kind of a theme. And then the race was on. We see how far Eli Tomac was back. He caught these guys, and then you would think that he would just be able to go around Hunter Lawrence for the win, but Hunter did his best to hold on, put in some great laps as Jet Lawrence is trying to get around ET. He didn't give up. But it was number 96, man. He was not to be denied this first moto. We saw what happened at the end.
He was a sleeper for me and one of my picks for the SMX World Championship. Hunter, just because you look at the year he's had, how well he's done, and he has some great momentum.
Look at this battle between Jet Lawrence and Eli Tomac.
Yeah, and I think this actually helped Hunter just get a little bit of gap, because these two boys, they were out here fighting, or two men were here fighting between each other, and allowed Hunter to get away just a little bit. And this is the last lap. That's how close all three of these guys were. But it was Hunter Lawrence getting his first win of the year of the playoffs.
It's the bang, bang, bang finish. Look how close, as you said, it was. And that was huge for Hunter to hold off two of the best in the business. Pretty much saying, well, so am I. I'm one of the best in the game.
This is like roulette. It really is. I mean, well, James, you talked about
a lot because of the start. We did not expect these guys to be up front. You had suddenly Dylan Ferrandis with the progressive hole shot. Plessinger, Anderson.
Letty and Malcolm going down there. Hate to see that for both of those guys. And man, I'll tell you what, an incredible ride by Chase Sexton. This is, we know what he's capable of. He had a great motocross championship. And these are the rides that we expect of him. But like you said, James, this track was so start dependent.
Yeah, definitely start dependent. This is Cooper Webb trying to get around Dylan Ferrandis as he does. Makes his way up in the second, and Cooper real good this second moto. Hang on for that for a little while.
You know, we talked about how start dependent. That was a good save by Jet Lawrence, but I hate to go off course here, but you talk how start dependent was. I just felt like how this track was the second moto, it's so hard to make up time because the conditions were so slippery. So that makes the starts even more important, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was Jet getting around his brother towards the end of the race. Actually, I believe this was for third place, because you still had Chase's teammate, Aaron Plessinger.
And then Webb as well, yeah. And then finally Webb didn't get that rhythm lane the way he wanted it, and that allows Jet to move up. Yeah,
Jet was coming. He had number 3 coming up behind him, so set his sights on, kept going. And then it was Hunter Lawrence. Why this pass matters, because it took Chase Sexton out of the overall victory, put Hunter back in, and it kind of changed everything leading into that last race.
Well, it really does, because it becomes winner take all, and that's where we're going to have to lean on Clinton Fowler from We Went Fast on the stats. And
well, almost not.
The data shows you.
Almost not, because Hunter in the last lap almost threw it away and was able to gather it back up and go 1-3 to get the overall win. Sexton is going to go 4-1. That's second overall.
Don't even ask me who I think's gonna win. No, I ain't gonna answer you.
I wouldn't even say anything.
Yeah. We don't even think about asking. We don't ask when it's obvious.
Who do you feel like might have the best chance of winning next weekend?
Well, I know that
best chance. I ain't saying
best chance.
So there are those three. If either of them win the Triple Point World Championship round next week, they are the $1 million SMX World Champion. It is Hunter Lawrence with the win over Chase Sexton. Jet Lawrence is third.
It's the first time I've seen guys on the podium with no boots on.
I mean, look at the finishes though. You got a 1-3, right? A 4-1. I mean, they're just all over the place. It's so hard to predict, but so much fun to watch. You're definitely going to want to tune in to next weekend.
Even Cooper Webb, who held off Eli Tomac.
Hey,
Eli Tomac was riding great
massive
today.
improvement for Cooper Webb this weekend on a very difficult racetrack.
Yeah, so he could be right in the mix points-wise. Even for Tomac, it's a bit of a stretch, even with triple points, but they will be in the fight, potentially stealing points away from those other three. Or maybe he pulls this off somehow with triple points. If we've learned anything, we have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe this guy does. Let's send it to Will Christian with the Honda HRC Progressive Team Manager.
Thank you, Lars Lindstrom with me now. Lars, two of you guys up here on the podium today. Now we head into next weekend in a winner-take-all scenario with both of them in that situation. And oh, by the way, they happen to be brothers. What's that dynamic like for you, for their dad, Darren, for the guys? I mean, it's very unusual.
I don't want to correct you, but we have 3 guys on the podium today with Joe Shimoda.
Oh, yes, you did.
But, you know, anyways, yeah, no, it's unbelievable with 2 450 guys, premier guys, and Hunter getting his first, you know, big bike win, big 450 win.
Yeah.
Super happy for him. We're, you know, couldn't have done it at a better time with our partnership with the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. So it was super cool to have those graphics on his bike, you know, and everything, and tie that all together was really special. And just, you know, him taking the red plate for the last race too, and it's kind of a winner take all, like you said, you know, coming in to next weekend. And Darren, he doesn't show it, you know, he's calm, cool, calm and collected, but I'm sure inside him and Emma, their mom, is probably pretty dang nervous.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible to see. Sorry, I missed Joe. Congratulations on Joe. How surprised are you by this comeback from him? I mean, what, 4 weeks was when he started there in Concord last week out of injury. How proud are you of him and the progress they're making, and what can you attribute that to?
You know, I really do think it has something to do with him having good vibes from this series last week or last year at this time, and then, you know, maybe he's got a little bit, you know, those 2 races off where he had his collarbone that was healing. It healed so quick and he felt so good so fast that I think he just feels good and motivated, and you know, he just has a lot of aggression, which is not something he has at the beginning of the race. We've been working on that, and so yeah, I'm really proud of him too, and I'm excited to come in the last round with hopefully an even better result.
Unfortunately, we're missing one of your team. Chance Hymas there had to back out this weekend and the finale next weekend. How's he doing? What's his state of mind with it, and what's the plan moving forward?
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, this whole year he's been dealing with a torn ACL that he had fixed and then retorn in Supercross. He was managing that really well, and I think at a certain point he kind of forgot and felt like it felt normal, and you know, people can do that when they get, you know, strength in their knee. So unfortunately last week he stuck it in the ground and it created a bone bruise. So he had an MRI. It looks like it's okay other than the obvious torn ACL. And so we're going to take a couple weeks off. The Motocross of Nations is really important to him and the team. So we're going to try to be ready for that and then reevaluate after that race what we're going to do.
Well, congratulations on all the successes today. We wish Chance the best luck there moving forward with his injury, and good luck next week.
Thank you. It's exciting.
Thanks, Lars. Appreciate it. Katie.
Yeah, a lot of anticipation, but they did pop some bottles there behind the black curtain. I saw them all passing that champagne. So Team Honda HRC, a big day for them, as they were just talking about, but really a whole lot of anticipation. Switching gears now to a guy who may have had a win, JB. What you think in his own mental game, physical game? Chase Sexton, 4-1, coming in second. How much of that was a little bit of a victory?
I think it was a big victory for Chase. I really do. Look, it's no secret that he caught some heat this week. I'm sure he was frustrated with his Charlotte performance, and he came in here looking to prove something, right?
Totally.
And I really think that second moto, Adam, was incredible for him.
I agree.
I just think it's so start dependent. He's one of the guys. The reason he catches so much criticism is he's one of the few that can challenge Jet and Hunter
Fair.
and Eli,
Good point.
right?
Yeah.
And he's a champion. He's a previous champion. So, of course, there's a lot of pressure on him. He puts a lot of pressure on himself, but I think today was a victory.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, I think with the heat on Chase, it's all about the standard you set for yourself, right? He's proven that he's one of the guys. He can do it. He can go out there and win by 15 seconds, and there's not a lot of guys that can do that. But I want to talk about Hunter Lawrence first. It was great to great to have him. It was great to have him on the set. But
smell the champagne off of him, the sweat off of him.
He left the sweat puddle.
Yeah, totally.
He did. And I remember racing with him 5 years ago in the 250 class, right? And he was kind of going through a bit of a rough patch. He would have some injuries, and then all of a sudden it was Jet's turn, and then now we're all focused on Jet. Everybody kind of forgot about Hunter, and quietly in the background, the guy's just been working his butt off. Now he's a fixture on the podium every weekend, going into the last playoff round, tied in points, like for $1 million. Yeah. I just think that career arc is so cool. He's pulled himself, people forget, but he's pulled himself from basically being irrelevant to now he's basically a superstar. So I'm just so happy. I'm so happy for him.
When you take a look at what he put together here this weekend, showing up, doing what he needed to do, especially truly like last weekend, we were talking to our production call this week. We hardly talked about Hunter Lawrence after last weekend. How much of the monkey is off his back now that he finally got his first overall? And how much does that give a rider confidence going into something like the finals?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. I think he's been so close all year long, and just to finally get over the hump, and man, you cannot pick a better time to get hot than right now. Round 2 of the playoffs, going into Vegas, triple points, everything on the line.
And he's a rookie. We forget.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's got Rookie of the Year
Maybe
locked
with the stat
up.
there, yeah.
He's got Rookie of the Year locked up. JT?
That is true. Yeah, JT's out trackside right now. JT, it's been a hot topic, literally, figuratively, literally, the track all day long.
Well, Hunter Lawrence was making that comment about trying to ride a road bicycle on a mountain bike course. I just try to visualize that for the viewer. Now you see how slippery it is at the beginning of this corner, right? So he starts to lose traction just like he did on that last lap, almost throwing away the winner, loses traction. But just when you get past that, you start to fall into these bumps. And he's talked about running suspension components on an outdoor setup, and that doesn't necessarily work, right? Because as soon as you get to that corner, the rear tire is going to drop into this bump, and his setup is so rigid, it's not going to absorb that. So all of that energy that on an outdoor setup would be absorbed by the suspension is going to be transferred up into his body. So he's taking hit after hit into his body, jarring the handlebars like James Stewart talking about. It's like holding onto a jackhammer because they have to set the motorcycle up to be able to handle Supercross triples and these big doubles too. So these hybrid tracks create such a difficult setup for the riders, and they really get beat up after a day of racing. They'll probably be more sore tomorrow than they would ever in a Supercross because of it. Guys up in the booth, up to you.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.